Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to talk about the phishing. We are going to take a look at email headers and spot out what we are looking when we investigating emails, and something that will be interesting for us to make to find out if the email itself is it malicious or not, if it's not obvious already based on the email itself. So this is going to be one part of the video. The second part is going to be about investigating malicious URLs and using different OSINT tools, and also if the if the URL has not been taken down already, we will do a takedown. So we'll submit it to the Google Safe Browsing and Microsoft Intelligence community for takedown. So let's start. This is one of the OSINT tools that we use for investigation, and we'll come back to this later on. But first, I just wanted to showcase some of the emails and how they look like, the suspicious emails. So this is one of the websites where you can check samples, and here we see the examples of the phishing emails, how they would look like confirm ownership, and you cannot see the URL itself, but you can look at the topic and from and subject. So you can see the warning label here, so it try to push the user to take action right away. So this is one of the flags for the phishing URLs. The next one, we see that the email, it originated from a different domain, so it's not the same as it says here .net, malware traffic analyzers.net. And this is one type, like you can see once he clicked on the link here, it brings him to this page and says malware traffic analyzers, and it already populated the name, the username, because it has it in the cookie. And you can look at the domain here on top, so you can see it's totally different than what's been claiming here. Another one, the same here, email admin or reply at domain.com, and verify your information to deliver your emails. And another one, mail at malware, and the domain is different in the browser. So I mean, this is just examples. He used his domain here. He didn't showcase the real domains, but the difference, you can see the difference, like it's not similar. So this is one of the type of phishing emails you may receive, but usually you will get a spoofed from address. So basically you will not you will not see the difference in here. So you'll need to check the headers for this. And here's another example. So I have here one fake email made for this lab. So I just wanted to highlight, I mean, the Proton actually is really good at blocking the clicks right away to the redirects. So if you click on the link in here, it will give you the URL itself, and you can investigate it in here and see if it's going where it's intending to go. I got here a couple sign up for some advertising stuff. just to check the headers for them. And you can see like from, to, and here is gonna be the headers for different like, let's say Gmail or any other emails. There will be like different way to see the headers, but you can Google it and find for your email or for the email that you investigate how to view the headers. And for the analysts, usually they provide already the EML file. So for example, I can see these headers in here, but whenever we receive emails, we'll receive them as an export, and it's gonna be .eml file, and you can see them in different format. So you basically will get this YAML file where you can see the same stuff here, maybe in a better way. So what we look from, we look received from, and it's gonna be details about who sent it. So you can look at the DKIM if it's been signed. So we can see that domain, it's from signup.com, so that's who sent it. So this one it appears to be legit email. Usually the DKIM will be missing whenever they send it from a different address, and you will see actually here from whom it is being sent to. VPN address. And if it's spoofed, you will see the from email like different than what's gonna be the actual received from. So that's another indicator that is malicious. So you'll check for received from first, and it's going all the way to the top. But that's the first one received. Headers, you see in the headers the same authenticated, and the return path is right here. You can see it's bouncing from signup.com. Usually return path can be different because the malicious actors will use different return path. If they expect to receive an email from you, then they'll use their email that they want you to send the message to. So if it's a spoofed email here, like from will be, let's say, google.com, but the return path will be some malicious email. So that's how you identify if the headers are matching or are mismatched. But once you've received the email, so you can get these URLs. Like depends the way you get this. Usually it's already like defined by the secure gateway or any other tools like Proofpoint. They'll send you, and you'll get all details like in the defined URL. And defined URL, I mean, like you see, this is one of the tools we use, CyberChef, like for investigating, or like more for debugging and trying to decode stuff. But you can have other tools here. It's a lot of them, so I use the defined URL in here. So basically that's what like safe gateways will do for you. They will defang it, so you can see the way it looks here and the way it looks here. So it's defanged. It means that if you accidentally click on this link, it will not go and it will not open in your browser. So whenever you do investigation, or usually use like defanged URLs, defanged IPs, so it will not be clickable by accident. So this is the defanged URL. So let's say we would receive an email and we'll get that defanged URL, or if you got that YAML file that you can view it itself, you can hover over and right click, you can get that URL as well, and then you'll investigate it in some OSINT tools. So let's say, see, I'm hovering over, I can see it on the bottom here, the URL, and if I'm right click on it, I can copy the link and I can use one of the tools for Urlscan, is that Urlscan.io, and you can paste in here. So this tool is really cool. I mean, once you sign into it, you have options. I guess even if you're not signed in, you have option to choose from private scan, public scan. So public scan, it means that everybody will see what you've been scanning, and private scan is only visible to you. And you can choose like location where you want to scan it. So then you just run it, and it will give you a like snapshot of what the domain looks like, or the page once it's loaded, and more details about it. So you can see how the page would look like if I would browse to this domain, and I get more information in here, like if it will be malicious, it will say malicious here. Also on top here will say malicious. You get the IP here, you get actually the link that I've submitted, and actually the effective URL. So sometimes you submit something like starting with google.com, and then it's a redirect, and like it can be encoded here, so you'll not be able to decode. But once the browser decodes it, it will give you the effective address where actually it went. So you get these details here. You can see the HTTP traffic, and you can see it's redirected. It's a redirect chain, and it gives you the details about this. Also it gives you behaviors you can analyze. I mean, there's lots of stuff you can check in here. And sometimes if you submit a malicious URL, it may not browse. It will be a white page in here. It means probably it's been taken down already. So you can check the show scans. It will give you like previous scans of the same similar. So you can see like a lot of people have been visiting this one. The last time it was 5 months ago, because mine is not gonna show here in the public search. And if, for example, it's been taken down, you can go and check this URLs, like prior URLs that have been submitted, so you can see actually what's been what's been actually on the domain. So this is one thing. Also, it will give you here the details about the main domain, like what's submitting to. Like you can get the IP in here. You can use another tool, and like you can use the extension. If you use like Mozilla or Chrome, you have an extension that you can add. It's called Sputnik, and you can use like all these tools available for you for searching. So let's say it's an IP. I want to search for this IP. I can use Abuse IP database, and it will automatically run it and give me details about this. And if it would be malicious, it will show here submissions. If somebody submitted, and it will tell you what they submitted as. And also you can create like the tools, like the links that you use, like make folders for yourself and then save all these files in there. It's easy to access them. So you can just create an add folder, and once you add the folder, you can open folder or add bookmark to the folder, or whenever your browser to this, you can click and add it to the folder you want. So it will be pretty handy than just going and typing all these URLs every time. So let's go back to what we've been investigating. So it's not been flagged in here, otherwise we'll see like a reputation. You can see Google safe browsing, no classification for sign up, so it's not malicious. But if it doesn't mean like if it's something that appears to be very malicious but it's not been reported yet, so if you think it's something that needs more investigation, you can use like other tools, like I was showing at the beginning. This is called Any.Run, and I know before you could just create like a free account. I don't know now, I was trying to create a fake account in there, but apparently I couldn't. It asked for the business email, so usually you need to have a business account, like paid account, and you have more options running it. And I have like a walled account that I was using before, and I created for free, so it gives me the options to do some scans in here. But even if you don't have account, you can come here and check the public submissions, and you can see like what other people were submitting before. Let me check new private. You can see I cannot log in here, but I can check these public tasks, and it will give me the submissions that people were submitting publicly. So those are available for the public view. So even if you don't have account, you can come check here those submissions. And let me see, actually you can see here classification, like it gives you how many of those files were malicious, how many suspicious, how many no threats found. But those malicious files not always are right, like it's a lot of false positives as well. And you can see the category classification, like they have tags, so if you click on those tags, you can get like for phishing URLs and check it. If you go back to this, you can check like ransomware and check like, okay, this is ransomware. If you click on it, it will open a new page, and you can see actually what's been submitted. So I mean, you cannot like interact directly, but you can see what's been doing here. You can see communicating to this malicious URL, so you can copy this URL and probably check it in Urlscan, and or you can use VirusTotal. And check it in here and see what it will give you. So yeah, it's some malware. And this is another tool that is used a lot, and it gives you details, like I'm not sure if it's when was submitted first time, or was scanned last time. But if you check here details, okay, submitted was first submission was 2017, last submission today. So you can get more details in here, like what URL, what IP. Actually, you can check the IP as well, like where is coming from this IP. I mean, this is all like tools for investigating. And see, it says from the whitelist is from Cloudflare, so maybe they have some account in the cloud, scan detection type name. So it's been hosted probably in the cloud on the kind of public accounts. So it's really handy, those tools, and I'll get to this later when we'll investigate the actual malicious URL that I found. So let's say we received some of these emails, we found the URL, so now we want to investigate that URL. And I got here one URL. Okay. So I got this URL in here, you can see it's defunct, so it's not clickable. So once we got the URL from the malicious email, we'll just run a Urlscan first, check what's look like. Okay, I was not okay because it's defunct, so need to get those brackets away. So you could see like the browser could not resolve because it's been defunct, so it's safe. And okay, you can see what's look like. View document here. So basically this is one of the tactics used for phishing. They'll send some email that will contain like a link, and that link will contain like another link that once you redirect to that link, then it will be malicious, because all of the majority of the businesses, they use some gateway security tools like Proofpoint, like Zscaler, Cofense. So all those security consoles, they interact with those URLs right away, and if they spot or detect any malicious indicators, they right away like block it and quarantine it. So if you just have the malicious URL directly in the email, they'll be just taken down. So what they use like those redirects, like click for this document to view here, or any other type of kind of redirect or redirects. So you can see like it's already looking suspicious for us. I mean, you can see no indicators, nothing, it's clean. Okay, what's next? We can check this IP, see from where it came from. Okay, Fastly, content delivery network, been submitted 26 times, 6% confidence of abuse. So you can see what's been submitted as hacking, brute force, exploit, Urlscan, phishing, spoofing. So you kind of get an idea. Alright, next step will be to check this URL maybe in VirusTotal, maybe see if the intelligence community has submitted. Nope, nothing, clean. 16 hours ago submitted, one last time been submitted yesterday. So you can see this is ongoing phishing attack, and nobody has taken down this URL. Alright, I mean, we want to see actually what's on this document. Click here. So now I'm gonna take this URL and go to this Any.Run, and we can interact. So for this free account, you just have option like I mean, for both actually options is the same, where upload the URL, where insert URL, or upload the file. And for the free account, I just got the option for running Windows 7 and 32-bit. But when you have like a paid account or business account, you'll have more options to like choose from the operating system, and more other options like to make it more specific. But for our purposes, we just need to run it so we can interact directly with the malicious URL without getting explosions. And by the way, I'm still running all the stuff in VM, so I'm still like isolated. here. So we can see it's loading. You can see the timer running out. You can add here more time to have more time to interact with the malicious URL. And we can see that it starts connecting, getting all this certification, validation, and takes time to get to this malicious URL. Hopefully it's still alive, so we can interact and actually showcase what's going on there. Okay, so we got this file, we click on it, and we are redirected to this diaflano.com, and there is option actually to take this like clipboard if you want to, like for example this is .php. I can copy in here and then I go here, paste and receive. So I receive this URL, and now I'll be able to actually browse this URL later on. I'll just save it for now here. Yeah, it takes a while to load this page. Maybe the VM is, because it's not paid version, is slow. So basically here is the sandbox is interacting with these files and our behavior. It takes quite a while. Okay, once we're waiting, we can go check, investigate the second URL. Maybe we get a snapshot here faster. And let's check it here as well. Okay, here we got the snapshot. Okay, so this is the credential harvester, and you can see it's Office 365, Outlook, or any other other credentials that you want to give to them are welcome. So, and you can see here this actually is a malware and it's been already flagged. So basically you understand how it works. They use a new domain, a new established domain that it's not been flagged, so it passed the security consoles, and whenever somebody click on it, you get here, and then you get all this stuff. Come on, what takes me so long? But basically, I mean, I just wanted to showcase the interaction, and hopefully it will resolve to this malicious URL. Because I'm assuming it's not gonna resolve in here, because that's where I got this URL from the Any.Run. So it's already been flagged. Last time I ran it, I still put a result to it. Yeah, alright, I'll stop it. Just basically you'll get the same page as here, and whenever you click on it, it will look alike Office 365, some credentials, stuff like this. And whenever you enter them, it will say, oh, something is not working, and or it may even redirect to a legit I mean, I don't know actually what's there. It can be even the file itself be malicious, so you never know. The only way to see it is actually to get access to that, but we couldn't get it here. So let's see. I mean, usually you'll get the indicators here, indicators of compromise. So you can see the IP will be flagged, the domain should be flagged, because it didn't resolve to this malicious domain, so it's not flagged but this one is not submitted as malicious URL, so it's not flagged anyway. But that's where you get the indicators of compromise. And if you check, like you can copy, if you click on it and like clipboard and check those IPs maybe. See, it says command. Yeah, I mean it's false positive for this IP, but we know that this is going to be a malicious URL at the end somewhere after those redirects. So this fastly reported 61 times. They report on this domain on this IP, but it's just hosting stuff like in the cloud. So they just like delete the bucket and done. So the only way to prevent it is just to block the IP, the URLs itself. So this is where you can get the indicators of compromise. Also, whenever you run it in the, like if you have it like private, that's the options you have here. You can choose to run it in private as well. So you can come here. Okay, I cannot say it. Usually if it's in private but you want to get this URL like available to others that doesn't have account, you can come here to settings and there will be an option to change it to like public, and then that URL will be accessed without actually logging in. Also you get the tactics used in here, so you can see software discovery query. I mean, actually I was curious to see what's gonna showcase for this malicious URL, but it did not work this time. So also you can export, but another cool feature is to get this text report. So it's just gonna open you a new browser and you get all the details, file hashes, everything, and actually even screenshots if it's gonna resolve to malicious. So you can use it for report, or if you create a case for the customer escalation, like you have evidences. So that's your evidences here. It tells you like whenever you run malware, it's gonna give you all the processes that's been involved and a lot of details in here, and all this IPs and URLs that's been resolving. So you can see it's a lot of stuff here. So that's good. So for this one, we know this is the malicious one, but it came from another URL that we've been submitting before. Also a cool feature when you have the account, then you can go and check your recent scans. So you can see I scanned this one. So I can like use this as evidences as well, and plus if it would resolve to this malicious IP, a malicious URL, I could use that text report from Any.Run as well whenever I'm creating some escalation or anything like this, and all the evidences you may cover. So I'm probably just gonna show how we take down this URL because it's been flagged as malicious, and this we can do it on Google Safe Browsing, and another tool I'm gonna use Microsoft Intelligence. So I grab this URL, paste in here, submitted, and also we need to submit it here. Phishing, malware, or threats. I mean, we've seen in VirusTotal is flagged us. Okay, we got 1, 2. Okay, that's my submission, or no? I guess not. So probably they wait for a couple submissions before they actually getting it down. And I'll just mark it as phishing because it came from an email. So I'll leave it as phishing. We've submitted it for taking down, and also we can check if it's alive or not. There's another tool I have here. So it's alive, I mean, because we browsed to it, but probably next couple of days will be down. So that's how we actually use to investigate those URLs. I mean, you can take a look at this Any.Run and try to actually go and explore more. Like if you use this public submissions that I've showed you in the beginning, even if you don't have account, or you can choose it from those tags and actually go like see like what's been submitted recently, like let's say ransomware. And you can see actually this is a file, not a URL, so you can investigate this file. And I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not browsable because there is no snapshots here. Actually, let's check another one. Maybe just this one doesn't have snapshots. Trojan ransomware GoldenEye. Can you? Okay, so you can actually search here. So let's say log. Submitting recently. Like for shell is what's going on now. Spring for shell. Nothing. Alright. Let's see this Trojan. Okay, we got a couple of snapshots here. You can see it starts on library. Running some apps in the temp file. You can see, are you sure you want to permanently delete? It deletes PowerShell script that probably has been running at the beginning. So you can see like all this. You can actually see the process graph here. So if you click on the process graph, you can see where it starts, drop and start. It starts this process. Key list, and then inject an hour process. Okay, so you can kind of get the picture of how it's been running. I mean, this is like running just because somebody submitted this file in here, but probably the actual compromise will be, I don't know, from some download maybe, or beaconing, like somebody click on URL, download something, and there has been downloaded this payload or something, but we just see the payload, how it's executed, and what's been running. And yeah, like it's cool to investigate. Like you can see this, the RAM spikes here. It's interesting. And let's see, tactics use credential from password stores, persistence, so browser extension, unsecure credentials, software discovery, data encrypted for impact. So it dropped a file that start encrypting. Yep, that's a really cool feature to use, and you can explore and learn more about this tool. There is actually another tool also you can explore. haven't touched on it yet. It's called malware hybrid analysis, and you can actually check here like URLs that have been submitted recently and files, and also kind of get the same kind of snapshot of everything what's going on, but it's not that interactive as on the malware on the Any.Run. Like you cannot interact with it, but you can get all these details here too, and it's pretty in-depth. Like you can get all the stuff that's happening, informity, files, file hashes, and a lot of details. And you can also submit here the file or search for, like you can submit URL, or you can drop a file the same as on the, you can check the same URL probably here and see if it's gonna, it's usually just take longer, so if you don't have an account, let me see if it will let me run it. Okay, you got here options to run it in different operating system, and that's gonna be a public submission name. And I mean, it says virus clean here, but we look for actually, you see like we got the snapshot here, and it says clean because it couldn't, it's dynamic, but it's not interacting with the clicks. Like usually it needs like a human interaction. That's the point of this phishing attacks, because usually the human will interact with it, but the sandbox, I mean, they are actually doing a good job too, but not all of them are actually clicking on those stuffs all the time. I know that they are working on this, trying to have the sandbox itself like detect and click on these buttons, but I think it's not at that level yet, so it's not been detected here. But yeah, you'll get, like if you click on this, you'll get a lot of details as well, like malicious artifacts in the context of contacted host, so probably picked on that IP, and got snapshots here. You can check and see how it's been looking like. Yeah, it didn't click, like, I mean, it's obvious button here, but not all those unboxing actually take action. So I guess that's all for today. I mean, you can explore all this OSINT tools on yourself. Like I showcase how you can find in the hybrid analysis, you can find URLs or files that you can click and investigate and see how they are in the Any.Run. And also you can have the URL submitted here, like recent scans. You can see what's been submitting, and also check like what they look like, details about them, like the IPs it resolved, and more and more. So thank you for watching. Yes.